Hey guys, Gore here. Welcome back to the channel. Are you tired of playing squad like a running simulator? Have you ever just found yourself stranded in the middle of nowhere and you and your squad are unfortunately left with no transport and have to hoof it across the map? Well, in today's video, I'm going to cover one of the simplest yet one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal as both a player and a squad leader. Coincidentally enough, the tool that I'm teaching you today is something that I learned in my first ever squad game. I was digging up a machine gun bunker, and to my dismay, once the gun was fully built, I found myself stuck on the inside. Guys, I'm stuck in the gun. Can someone help me out here? To which I was told, dude, just command respawn because we're not digging the gun back down. Command, what? And after a few minutes of explaining it to me, I was back on the spawn screen. Funnily enough, I quit playing squad that day because I decided that it just wasn't the game for me. Look how that turned out. Anyways, that is the topic of today's video, the all-powerful command respawn. This puppy is like that trusty Lumbridge home telly that you keep in your back pocket. We're going to go through how to do this, but more importantly, talk about the situations where this should or should not be utilized. So you may have clicked on this video in hopes that I was going to provide you with the holy grail piece of information that might help you stop losing gunfights all the time. Well, shit, while we're at it, I'll give that to you too. Just click on their heads before they click on yours. Easy. Moving on. While efficiency with your weapons, maneuvering as a squad, and communication are all integral parts of being a successful squad player, they mean absolutely nothing if you and your squad are out of position. No matter how you came to be in an irrelevant position, the best thing you can do is rejoin the rest of the team in areas or objectives that actually matter. To do this, some squads will test the fortitude of their left pinky and shift W to their destination. Others may meander about until a heli or transport vehicle finally makes it to their position to pick them up. And we all know some will just stay out there in the middle of nowhere because we're fighting things. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's a far better option under the right circumstances, of course. That is to hit the old command respawn. To do this is incredibly simple. You first hit the tilde key, which is the key with the little squiggly line located right above your left tab. This will bring up the console line or command line, whatever you want to call it. Now, all you need to do is type in respawn and then hit enter. Once you do this, your character will fall over and you'll be back at the spawn screen. With this, you can essentially teleport around the map when situations are dire. This does count as doing a not alive, so you will have an increased spawn timer anywhere from 85 to 120 seconds. This may sound like a long time that you'd rather not have to wait, but let's take a look at a scenario where you choose to run the distance versus respawning. Let's say you and your squad got set up on Industrial on Gordock since you know the flags go there quite often. To your squad's surprise, the midpoint ends up going to Neva Upper. You were dropped off by a chopper that is now preoccupied and cannot pick you up, so your squad leader tells everyone to start running. Your squad now has to cover 1,900 meters to get to its objective area. To cross that distance on a straight line will take you about 7.5 minutes, aka an absolute shit ton of time. That 85 to 120 second respawn doesn't look so bad anymore now, does it? The last thing to mention about command respawning is your team will lose a ticket when you do this, so it should only be done in certain circumstances. What are these appropriate situations, you may ask? Well, let's take a look at a few. To start, I'm going to touch on when not to command respawn, since the scenarios on this side of the fence are much more straightforward. To put it simply, do not command respawn when your team is low on tickets. Now, low ticket count is very subjective to each person. Some may say sub 100, while others say sub 50, and so on. In my opinion, the number changes according to each game, but my own personal cutoff is around the 50 ticket mark, again, heavily depending on the situation. If you are enjoying this video up to this point or found the information helpful, consider booping that little like button down below. Looking at a few scenarios where command respawning is perfect, the first we have is the objective shift. This is when you and your squad are sitting on defense and the attack point is captured by your team, thus locking the objective you were just defending. The best tactic to use in these scenarios is for your previous defense squad to leapfrog the new defense point and get on the attack. While there may still be enemies there to fight, and if you leave, they're more than likely to take your radio, but guess what? Losing a radio and your squad all respawning costs 19 tickets. Getting a head start and capturing the next objective will net you 60 tickets in return. While kills may be the more fun route, a team that focuses on and captures objectives can easily win against a team that outperforms them in the kill column. Now, there's no reason to command respawn in this situation unless a spawn has already been established on the new attack point. If one has, go for it. If not, you may be better off acquiring a transport to the objective. The next situation is the classic middle of nowhere conundrum. You can find yourself here through a variety of ways. Maybe it's the start of a RAS round and you and your squad went to a common point of interest to set up shop, but the flags ended up going the complete opposite way and now you have no means of transport. Well, instead of running across the map, you can all respawn and reposition to either shore up the defense or join the attack from the new hab that's about to come up. Now, I'd be doing a complete disservice if I didn't include a disclaimer that running across the map can actually be a net positive for your team. Don't crucify me yet. Hear me out real quick. If your squad has the discipline and communication to move as a unit and maneuver into a flanking position that they'd otherwise not been able to, you can inflict a lot of damage on your enemies. But, only if your team is not in need of immediate assistance. If they are, you need to make the responsible decision and get back to where help is needed via respawning. The next situation is using the command respawn to hit the old reset button and try something new. Say your team, or more specifically your squad, is stuck in a stalemate while attacking and you've gotten to the point where people are spread to the wind and some sort of intervention is needed, or your team will just continue burning tickets until the game is lost. Oftentimes, the best route a squad can take is to regroup at main or wherever a logistics vehicle is available and push together to get a new spawn up in a flanking position. While in this situation, you can just wait until you get shot to make your timer shorter, or you can go ahead and force your respawn. Now that you and your squad have a good idea of where the enemy's eyes are trained and what their defense looks like, you can make an informed decision and get a spawn up to finally take the objective. The last situation is what I like to call the "oh shit, we're about to lose this game" scenario. Maybe you were on the attack point and trying to force a double neutral just for your enemies to capture your defense mere seconds before you were able to do so. Well, now your team is at a huge risk of getting rolled and losing the game entirely. Your only chance is to regroup on the new defense flag and coordinate with the rest of the team to formulate a new plan. In squad, it is incredibly hard to rope back in an enemy team that is running away with the game, and you're far better off getting back in front of them and halting them in their tracks. I mean that in both a metaphorical and literal sense. I see squads all the time that are running behind the enemy trying to stop their advance instead of simply repositioning and meeting them head on. Command respawn is something that should not be used as the default response, but having it in your back pocket can quickly shift the tide of any game or possibly bring your team back from the brink of defeat. Squad games are more often won or lost by positioning rather than the other things you may see as important. So do yourself and your team a favor and get your butts in an area that you can aid the team in securing the win. If you're looking for a squad tactic to use in almost any situation in every game you play, check out this video right here where we cover all the ins and outs of performing a successful flank in squad.